Hey, Rick at Roaring Toyz here. Today I'm going to show you how to do an outside drive installation kit on a 2014 Suzuki Hayabusa. This kit that we're going to use here will fit all the Suzuki Hayabusas built from 99 up through present. Before we get started here, I want to give you the reason why we use an outside drive and what the purpose of it is. We're going to go to a wide tire in the back, 300 kit or larger, where we want to get the chain out here without using the drive shaft or jack shaft. The chain, instead of being on the inside of the frame here, it's going to wind up being on the outside of the frame, hence the term outside drive. What we have here is one of our Roaring Toyz extended swing arms, stealth under bracing on this. If you notice, with a wide tire like this, there's no jack shaft, and here's your conventional jack shaft setup here, and it's normally engineered into the arm here somewhere. With this setup with an outside drive, we're going to put the chain on the outside of the frame. You know, single sprocket, single chain, single everything, less moving parts. These jack shafts, they're going to be high maintenance. You're going to have bearings to maintain. You got two chains going on here. You're losing horsepower through this. Also, if you eliminate the jack shaft being in here and you don't want a real long bike, you want to have a short bike, we can have these things short and way up. There's no moving parts that are going to be in our way of this. So we can make a short, fat bike if that's what we'd like to take. Alright, what we have here is your basic install kit for your outside drive setup on your Suzuki Hayabusa. The only thing that you're going to have to let us know when you order this kit is if you have a first generation or second generation Busa, meaning Hayabusa 99 through 07 for your first gen, and 2008 and up for your second gen Hayabusa. You've got an outside drive cover plate which holds the bearing and the standoff here. Speedometer sensor, standoff, speedometer cover. You've got your standoffs that support this, extended clutch push rod, shift lever, and chain guard. Before we get started, whether you're using a table, a jack, do this on the floor if you have to. We want to get this bike nice and secure because we're going to be working on it. We're going to be removing the swing arm. You know, we got to have this thing secure. So get this thing up on a table, up on a lift, whatever you have. Main thing is get this front end secure, where you're not going to have anything moving. Like I said, you're not going to have anything on the rear, so the bike has to be totally secure. Alright, before you get started on this job, I'd really appreciate if you'd watch the entire video, beginning to end, because this job is very involved. I want you to feel confident that you can do this job. If there's anything that you don't feel confident about, please call us, consult a professional, have it done professionally. This is your life. If there was anything to go wrong, if anything happened, you know, it's not worth it. If there's anything at all in question, please either call us or consult a professional, have the bike done by them. We're going to run through the basics real quick. There's no sense in me going over all this with you if, you know, you got to get all this, the fairing, the exhaust, the rear set, all this has to come off before you can start this job. So let's just get through the basics here and we'll get to the project from there. As you can see, we've got everything off this bike now. We've got the fairing off, we've got the sprocket cover and the clutch slave cylinder off. We're going to leave the swing arm on at this time because we're mostly concerned on showing you how to set up the outside drive properly, so we're not going to worry about the arm. We will talk about it. So for right now, let's move on. We've got the nut off the sprocket, the stock sprocket. Let's take that off because we're going to be changing that. Also, we have the clutch push rod here. And in the kit, you're going to find you've got another push rod, and it's a little bit longer to compensate for this kit, and we'll talk about that also. All right, a little bit about the sprocket. It's a little different than what you took off. What you took off is you have a kind of a locking nut here with a washer or spacer, whatever. This one, you don't want to reuse that nut or washer. You're going to use the one that's supplied to the kit with the sprocket you're getting. A little bit different. I want to stress that on these threads right here, that you're going to be using red Loctite, and use a generous portion of it. Don't use blue, don't use some other color. We're stressing red Loctite on this nut. And you're just going to paint that all in the inside real nice and use plenty of it. I'm not going to do it for this. This is demonstration purposes only, but Loctite for sure. Okay, let's put that sprocket on there. Go ahead and put the nut in there. Spin that down on there. All right, we've got the nut in there, run up on the sprocket there. It's time to torque it to the factory torque spec. Check your manual for your factory settings, whether it be the first gen Busa 99307 or second gen Busa 08 and to the present day. We'll get that set, and we'll get that torque right there. Looks like we got it. So that's all set. So you're all good with your sprocket now. All right, I was mentioning before, we've got the clutch push rods here. Here's your stocker, and here's your modified one to run the outside drive. You notice it's quite a difference in the length. So we'll put the stocker aside. We'll go ahead and stick that in there. Okay, one of the next things we want to do, how are we going to support this outside drive? Well, here's all your support mechanism right here. This is going to be for your swing arm right here. And these are your standoffs for your outside plate, which is going to hold the plate off the engine there. Now, if you notice, we got two long ones and we have one short one. They are specific. Obviously, if you have them in the wrong place, you should notice it because they're going to have to be perfectly flat when you put that down there. But let's go ahead and I'm going to show you where they go. The two long ones are going to go in the positions up here at the top, and the shorter one is going to go in this position down here at the bottom. So let's go ahead and put these in. Now we've got our standoffs here on the engine for the supporting the outside drive cover plate. And now we're going to talk about this here. This is the support for your outside drive cover plate in the rear. I'm just going to go on here. Now all four of these pieces are what's going to hold this part in place, which is going to have a bearing here and give that really good strong support right there. You can see here we've got our sprocket installed. We've got our clutch push rod here. We've got the front standoffs here mounted in the front, short one at the bottom, two long ones at the top, and we have our standoff mounted here on our swing arm bolt rather than the normal nut and washer. That's mounted. Last thing to do is to take your shifter extension and you're going to put it on here. Have it down here somewhere where you can get to the screw, because what I like to do, it may work out for you, but I like to put it on there, put this in here, and when I put the plate on, as you can see, I have some movement here, a little bit of wiggle. I like to leave that wiggle in it, but leave it so I can get a wrench up behind the plate and tighten it up afterwards. I like to just leave that, like I said, I like my wiggle room before we finish tightening it. Let's just put that on there, put the nut in it, and leave it a little bit loose. Okay, basically you've got everything prepped here on the motorcycle that you need to prep. Like I said, I'm going to be changing the swing arm. Normally you'd have your chain in here at this point. The chain would be in here, just laying loose, not tight or nothing, just have the chain laying here so you won't have to feed it through later. And the other thing I'm going to tell you too is before you put this plate on, you're going to be mounting the chain guard on the back here. Like I said, I'm demonstrating the install of this and the important points that we need to concentrate on. Put a chain guard on, 2 screws at a time, but we're leaving it off now so we can have a good look at stuff. Anyway, before you get too far, before you're ready to put this plate on, I want to talk to you about these clutch slave cylinders here and how they're made. I have my hand here, a machine part, very tight tolerance, everything is pretty precision. I have here in my hand is a cast part. Well, castings, they can vary. The only precision part on this casting is where the bleeder is, where the fitting is for the brake line, and obviously in where the piston is, where the piston lays. That's precision part in there. But the exterior of it is pretty touch and go. You may find that certain Hayabusas that you go and you set it in this plate and boom, it just drops in. Fits perfectly. You might find other ones and say, wow, that doesn't fit very well at all. It doesn't fit down in like it should. This one here has a little tiny problem. This one is actually not bad, and I think the reason it has a problem is because this has been sent out to chrome and a little thickness in the chrome. Now, but my main concern is the point I'm trying to make is this thing should fit like just drop in nice. Not like you got to draw it down with the screws, not like you're forcing it. It's just got to drop in. Like I said, if you look at this one here, you can see it drops in pretty good, but there's a little resistance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find out where it's not clearing properly and just give it a little clearance, whether I use a file or whatever you want to use. You have a Dremel tool, file, die grinder. It sounds bad, but you're only going to be taking off just enough to get it to fit right. And if you don't do that, you bolt it up, you say, well, I'll be okay, I'll just bolt it up, I'm gonna tell you you're not. Because as soon as you engage the clutch, there's a chance that this piston here, because this is forced, it's tightened down and it could bind in here. It may not release the clutch. So as you can see here, I've gone ahead and I've got the outside drive plate prepped. I've got the clutch slave mounted on good. Remember how I said we need to clearance that a little bit if necessary to make that fit good. So it's all a nice, good fitment there now. I've got the chain guard installed, 2 screws in the back, hold that on. A little Loctite on there would be a good idea to put that on the screws and hold that on there. Basically, we are set to install that now. So let me go ahead and show you how that's done. I've already applied some NIC's compound here. Go on the sprocket where it goes in the bearing. You know, it's a good idea because, you know, if you ever have to take this apart and service it, it's going to come apart a lot easier. It's pretty precision fit on the sprocket. So let me go ahead and install this for you. Give a little bit of wiggle. This little water pump hose here, you might have to reposition that just a little bit, but you're just going to wiggle that on there. And there, you can hear that's bottomed out now, it's on there good and solid. So we're all set now to install some of the attaching screws. Okay, there's a certain order you should do things in when you're going to install this cover plate. Like I said, we've left everything, you know, like the shift extension loose, everything's kind of loose here, and you can see that this can move around a little bit. The first thing you want to do, let's not get this out of order, let's do this in order. We're going to put these screws in here first, the ones that go to the engine standoffs. So we'll go ahead and we'll put those in there. Go ahead and tighten these up. We're not going to tighten them, we're just going to spin them in there and just barely snug. We just want it to just hold itself in place. Tighten them down evenly. Not even, like I said, don't fully tighten them, leave them a little bit loose. Just snug. See, I took all that play out of there. Next thing we want to do is we want to put this eccentric in. And this eccentric is designed to locate this outside drive cover plate on your Swingarm standoff here. Because of, you know, mass production, engines being put in, you need a little bit of adjustment room to make all this line up, and that's why we have this eccentric. It can fall in wherever it needs to fall in. It'll give you multiple adjustable positions. And the best way to put this eccentric in is to kind of eyeball it here, see where this is, see where the standoff is in relationship to this outside ring here. And kind of turn that, and you know, you can look at it and say, oh, okay, it's got to go a little bit this way, a little bit that way. Just get it all right where you feel like, well, that's a pretty good line up there. And when you do get it lined up, like I said, you can move these little slots here. You can move them with a screwdriver, move them with your fingers if you can. But spin stuff around until you get it right where it looks pretty good. And if you've got it in the right spot, there, it should fall right in. See how easy that is? It just fell in there. That's the way all this should go. If at any time something doesn't seem to fall in or line up, I don't want you prying on something to line it up. I don't want you beating on something. Don't do any of that. You see how easy that went in? That's how it's supposed to go in. Same way with everything else. Okay, so you got your eccentric in, you got your bolts in here. You can go ahead and start tightening everything up. Everything's lined up now. So put this in there. So everything's in here, and at this point you can go ahead and tighten this up, tighten all these up, just tighten everything down evenly. And you basically got that all installed now. That's once these are tight, you're good to go. And I'll tell you a little bit more here. We've left this loose, so it just has some wiggle room. We didn't want to tighten it down, have it be at an angle or any weird angle. It's going to fit in there nice and tight. We got the wiggle room. We can just kind of set it now. Get up in there with a Allen wrench, and we'll just tighten this up so this is nice and tight now. All right, we've got our outside drive cover plate installed here. Now you're going to have a way to run your speedometer. What we have here is a speedometer standoff of sorts. It's just going to drop right in there. We're going to push it in there until it's seated. Seems like it's pretty good right there. And then we have a snap ring, typical snap ring. Let's just take that, set that in here, and that's what's going to hold that standoff in the sprocket. It's pretty tight, so it is. Deep down in there too. Just make sure that that seats properly in there, that it's all the way up against there real good, and you'll be good to go. All right, now that you got your speedometer standoff mounted in there nice and secure, it can rotate a little bit. You know, it's not going to be super tight in there, but I guarantee it's going to work your speedometer just fine. So we're going to take your speedometer little trigger wheel here. We're going to go ahead and screw that in here, just like you would in the factory setup. As soon as you get that bottomed out, see the whole thing's turning now. Like I said, it will turn a little bit in there. So not that it's designed for a wrench, but you take a wrench. I'm just going to use a simple crescent wrench here, and I'm going to hold the speedometer drive there. Just get that nice tightened up, snugged up, and there it is. You're all set to go now. Like I said, don't worry that that rotates. That's going to be just fine. Your speedometer is going to work perfect. Last but not least, you're going to install your speedometer cover, sprocket cover, and it's indexed, and it can really only go on one way, but just to make it simple for you, this little notch out we have down here, that's where your shift lever is going to land. So this is always going to be on the bottom here. So that's just going to slide in behind the clutch slave there. Just kind of line it up and go ahead and put those 4 small screws you supplied in the kit. Goes right in there. Just tighten that up. Now you can take your speedometer sensor, and if you have to maybe loosen up the harness a little bit here to get the reach, it usually reaches okay, but if you have to reroute it or do anything, just go ahead and do that. And it's going to set just like in there, just like in the stock position. Put your stock mounting screw back in there and you'll be good to go. One thing I will make mention of, sometimes during the chroming process, this hole here might be a little tight, and you're good to go if you want to clearance that or clearance whatever you have to make that just set down. And just don't draw it down in, make sure it fits properly. Okay, now you got your speedometer hooked back up. Let's go ahead and hook the clutch line back up. Forget your sealing washers on each side here. Go ahead and screw that in there. Once you get this tightened up, you know, it's a simple routine maintenance kind of thing. You're going to go ahead and bleed this clutch slave like you normally would. Fill up your reservoir and you can take it from there. And last but not least, we're going to go ahead and hook up your rear set and your shift lever. As you can see here, you've got multiple holes here. That's because this outside drive cover plate covers all years of Hayabusas. Depending on the year, the way the rear set's made is what holes you're going to use. And obviously when you set it up on here, you'll be able to see just where the screws are going to land. So we'll go ahead and we'll mount that up. Now we've got your foot peg rear set assembly hooked up. We're going to go ahead and hook the shifter up, and obviously this is going to be your preference wherever you want it. You know, I mean, you're totally adjustable. You should know this anyway if you're doing this job. And this is basically going to drop right down on this part here. So, you know, get your orientation correct. Like I said, you can see this little cutout area in the plate here that's designed for that shifter. Let's go ahead and mount that up. Well, as you can see here, we're all done now with our outside drive install on this 2014 Suzuki Hayabusa. Obviously, there's more to this because the purpose of the outside drive is we're going to have a wider swing arm and a wider wheel, which we'll follow up on in another video. If you've enjoyed this video and you feel like you're comfortable doing this job, go ahead and just follow what we said and you should be good to go. If there's anything that was in this video you don't quite understand or you're not confident with or something, just stop. It's a motorcycle. It's your life's on the line. Let's make sure we have a professional installer do it if you're not confident, and you'll be good to go. All right, as you can see, we've got our outside drive system installed here. We finished the bike. We've got the swing arm on, some chrome accessories, fairings are back on. We've road tested the bike. We've made sure we don't have any interference problems anywhere. Chains adjusted properly. The shifter's working correctly. The speedometer's working great. So we're done with this bike. Before I finish here, I'd like to go over with you one more thing, is how to trim the fairing to clear the outside drive. Alright, when you get your Roaring Toyz outside drive kit, you should have received a template. Either one for a 99 through 07 Busa here is the template for that, or you would have got a template for your 2008 and up Hayabusa. If you didn't receive either one of these templates in your kit, please give us a call here at Roaring Toyz and we'll get one right out to you. We'll either mail it to you, email, fax, whatever you like, we'll get it to you. So anyway, we have a 2008 and newer Hayabusa here that we just finished, and you're going to have this template here. What I want you to do is take a pair of scissors and just trim right along here and cut this template out. And when you're done, you're going to wind up with something that looks like this. I've gone ahead and I've covered this one with tape because I use it all the time and I don't have to cut one out every time I do one of these jobs. As you can see here, this fairing, we've already cut it to clear the outside drive and the speedometer standoff and everything. But what I want to show you is how to properly line this up on the stock fairing. And as you can see, get this in here, that this lines up real nice with this curved area right here and lines up good with the back side of the fairing. So when you cut this, the part that you're cutting is this line right here, this line, around here and down. And you can see also here, this curve is the factory curve here, so the lineup is pretty accurate. And you might have a little bit of tweaking to do here and there, might be a little bit more cut here, round off the edges if you like, you know, put your own touch on it if you want to. But that's basically what you're going to wind up with, is this cutout right here to go around the outside drive. Okay, like I've stated in other parts of this video, if you don't have the confidence in cutting this out, just stop. It's a $600–700 fairing. You don't want to mess the fairing up. Get it cut professionally, maybe a body shop or somebody that's totally confident in doing this for you. You know, so you can make it look nice. Also, our template, it's just a guideline. This is how we cut them. If you'd like to put a little different spin on it, cut it a little different, however you want to do it. If you're comfortable with it, cut the way you'd like to cut it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Everything looks like it turned out pretty good here, so let's go enjoy it.